kind of reminds me of like Zelda.
As in like the Legend of Zelda?
Yeah, so Zelda has an interesting timeline. So the first Zelda game we played was not the beginning of the timeline that Nintendo has released.
Oh, like the original Nintendo, like the one I played on back in 1987 or whatever it was?
Exactly. So you have these different reincarnations of a hero of that bloodline, who's Link.
Yeah, right? I remember Link, yep.
It's essentially him, or his spirit being reborn. And then, at the same time, you also have the spirit of Ganon, that evil spirit being reborn as well. And I think that can kind of be, like, derived of, like, what hate is, how it keeps being reborn.
I see.
That's kind of how I related to, like, where we are with racism and stuff like that. But yeah, that like, the first game, essentially, is actually one that released much later, which is called Skyward Sword. And that like talks about where Hyrule was, the story of Zelda, and
interesting. I didn't know that there was this whole backstory behind Zelda. It was like, you know, because the graphics were so poor, but it was such a fun game to play because you had to level up and you know, grab all these different icons and like everything else to help you get to like the next level. So
I think it's
the game concept itself was way ahead of its time.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, with today's graphics, I'm pretty sure, you know, like anything like that is just like mind blowing.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Wow, look at that.
Yeah, this jackass here.
People really aren't paying attention.
Yeah, I know.
Oh boy. Good call, man.
I drive for a living, so you know you gotta have your head in a swivel, especially driving in this town on the Capitol Beltway.
Yeah.
Any time of day.
Yep. Oh, man.
Craziness.
Yeah, it really is. Man, if I turn some AC on, I'm just warm in this jacket.
We'll just turn the heat down. How's that?
That sounds great.
That's easy. I wasn't sure if we were going to be hot or cold because you said you were going to be waiting outside and it's 28 degrees outside with a 14-degree wind chill. So,
yeah, you're right there.
Well, yeah, no, I can tell you. We'll get this down to a much manageable level for you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, did you watch the Super Bowl?
You know I did, man. It was,
So let's talk about Tom Brady now.
Look, man, I'm going to be honest. I think Tom Brady is just, you can't mess with Tom Brady. He's a seasoned vet. He takes really good care of his health, and he's, pretty passionate.
Right.
He's very passionate about the sport, so it's going to always be hard to face him and his team. I think the Bucs ultimately had a better defense and offense with Tom Brady's arm.
Right.
And tactical vision and stuff like that. So.
And here's the thing with Brady, because I've been saying this for years. It's like, well, maybe he's a system guy, and so you put Cam Newton in that same system, who was a pretty good quarterback, and New England lays an egg, and Tom Brady goes to a mediocre football franchise at best in Tampa Bay. It was like, I'm going to go down here and win the Super Bowl just to prove everybody wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
It was crazy, man.
Yeah. You know who Tom Brady is by far the Larry Bird of quarterbacks. And when I say that, he's not the most gifted when it comes to raw talent and stuff like that, but I'm like, he beats you up here where it counts.
Yeah.
And the guy's 7-10 in Super Bowls.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you say to that? And his only losses are the goofy-looking quarterbacks, Nick Foles and Eli Manning. Go figure. So when people were like, well, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl? And I'm just thinking, well, Mahomes is, you know, a good-looking guy, so I'm going with Brady, and people laughed at me, but
he's a good quarterback as well.
Yeah, he is.
I think he was playing excellent. I just think that his defense failed him.
Yeah, his defense failed him. That offensive line, you know, they didn't have a starting O-line because I believe they were missing either 2 tackles or 2 guards, and they had like a bunch of, you know, anytime that you got to move that many pieces around on your O-line.
Yeah, I mean, the amount of times he got sacked, though, is just, that's ridiculous, man.
Yep.
You have to protect your quarterback for a decent number of seconds for him to find out what he needs to do. If you fail to do that, you've lost.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah. they say a strong defense wins championships. Now I understand what that means. It's like it's not just the defensive side; it's also the offensive defensive side.
Right, exactly.
That you have to look at as well.
You are correct, sir.
Yeah. But I really did enjoy the game, even though it was a landslide. I was rooting for the underdog, but I mean, Tom Brady. I mean, he's just too
Tom
good.
Brady is freaking Tom Brady.
He doesn't even age, man. He doesn't even age. What's wrong with this guy?